All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of my YouTube channel. We are in the vineyard, in the mighty Yarra Valley. We have the camera in a boot on a wine box. We have the car open. It is windy as all hell. It's meant to be spring and warm, but it's not. And I've managed to drag somebody out who I don't think has ever been on camera.
Not really, no.
No, there you go. He's never been on camera, but we all know his wines. All right, I'll come up and just put it up in the front so you can see it. We have Dappled Wines. We have Shaun from Dappled. I'm really, really stoked to have him here, actually, because to me, you know, this is one of the greatest value wines in the country, not just from the Yarra Valley. So, Shaun, thank you for joining me. I appreciate that. And tell us where we are. Like, where are we?
So we're in Seville at the Les Verges Vineyard, which is John Deloisio's Seville Hill Vineyard. So really high up on the hill in
and this is for your single vineyard Chardonnay?
Yep.
Some years?
Vineyard Chard. No, pretty much every year.
Every year now?
Yep. Every
okay. So we're in Seville. So we're only a couple of minutes from my place. And the actual grapes from my rosé that I make with my mate Stu actually come from the same vineyard.
Same vineyard.
Same vineyard. It's probably the same from the Shiraz or the Syrah, whatever we want to call it. But tell me a little bit, just for a brief minute, about your history in winemaking and your philosophy in winemaking and what's coming up.
Yeah. History. I've probably been making wine for about 25 plus years now. So I started when I was like 19, had no idea about wine. I got going.
That's me.
I went over to California for a surf trip and got a job with my uncle in the wine industry, thinking something to get some money. The waves were good in Mexico and California, but I fell in love with wine, sort of pretty interesting thing that I'd never really been involved with. And then just went from there, traveled the world.
Got the bug.
Worked in margs. So I surfed and traveled and worked in wine for probably a good 5 years from there, and then sort of settled down, went to uni, met my wife.
Figure out, do what you got to do, right?
Ended up coming from California to the Yarra in 2007. So I was sort of settled down back close to Melbourne, but, you know, still making good wines. I've always been about Pinot and Chardonnay. So all mostly cool climate experience for me. Tassie for a few years, California and Sonoma, Burgundy. And then Margarita Shardy. So yeah, mostly Pinot and Chardonnay centric.
Like, I mean, you're pretty much Chardonnay is what you are famed for, what you're famed for. And I think that most of the people watching this who are diehard fans, especially the Queensland boys, you know, they reckon everything good comes from up north, but I don't believe that. Chardonnay is the one that you probably sell out of first every year, the one that's most hotly demanded, the one that I get texted about and messaged about the most.
And the wine that I make the most of. So 2/3 of my production's between Les Verges and my Appellation Chardonnay.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so 66% of what he makes is Chardonnay. I mean, it's a man of my heart, right? That's probably why we get along so well. But it feels awkward not holding a glass. And I brought some, you told me to bring glasses.
Yeah.
I brought good glasses. You sort of laughed at me because we were in the vineyard. But that's okay. But I think we need to try this, get this 24 in the glass, and then we can actually talk about it because it's from the vines behind us.
Just at bud burst. So we're just at the beginning of 2026 vintage. So
so it's just starting. I mean, it's teasing us. We had a couple of days of like 23, 22 sunshine, and then now it's straight back to like 12, and it's
classic spring, mate.
So cold. It's so cold. But this is unreleased.
Yeah, non-released. Yeah.
So when's the actual when?
So it should be by the end of the month. You know, the first week of October for trade, and then end of September for mailing list.
For your mailing list. So you better make sure you sign up to his mailing list, because I'm going to drop this video around the same time that we drop the Chardonnay to help him out. Yeah. So let's pour it. Pour it in. Tell us about it.
Okay.
Tell us. We'll get it into our Riedel Superleggero Montrachet glasses, because these are epic.
Try not to blow them away.
Yeah, no, we won't blow them away. We'll be right. If they're standing up without wine in them, they'll be fine with wine in them, surely.
So 24, I mean, most of you probably would know from my Shardies, they're quite acid driven and mineral, but also weight and texture is a big thing with the wine. So 24 was quite a warmer vintage. We had a lot of rain coming up through the growing season, a bit of disease pressure, but then once things settled down close to actual veraison, we got some really nice, consistent warm weather, and it just really brought, and so this is probably the most forward, like white peach, yellow nectarine kind of flavours I've got in this wine. Quite often this vineyard produces that really nice, pithy grapefruit acidity and phenolic grip on the finish. Where in this wine, it's got that, but it's also got the weight and richness, which I'm really enjoying.
I mean, it smells unbelievable already. I mean, I've had the 24 appellation like maybe 3 times now, and I think for what that is, it's just an absolute. I mean, it's a stone cold stunner, really.
So some of this vineyard goes into that wine. So
so like in barrel selection, and when you're looking at what you've got, some makes the cut, some goes down to blend in to make. You obviously make more volume of the appellation.
Yeah. So that the appellation's based. So this vineyard, Macclesfield and Steele's Creek.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of rising vineyard in that too. But so you've got the Upper Yarra, which is, I mean, Seville's not classic Upper Yarra because it's not as far up as Warburton or whatever, but we're close. And I think with the red sours, that red sour profile is more Upper Yarra style.
Yep.
And then Macclesfield's quite a cool little spot. And then Steele's Creek's much warmer. You get much more richness in the fruit, but you don't get that verve and acidity as much.
Okay, so like you're looking for bright, zesty acidity, but like texture, grip, phenolics,
and weight,
and palate weight.
Yeah.
So you're looking for like an all-round wine. An all-round balance.
I think that's the key for me. The key to Chardonnay, great Chardonnay, is balance. It's like weight, texture, zing, and drive in the palate.
And 24 Chardonnays so far that I've tried, and I haven't tried this yet, but all the ones that I have tried have been absolute knockouts. Like, it seems to be a great vintage for the Yarra, for whites in particular.
Yeah, for whites in particular.
Yeah.
I think the crops were reasonable in 24. It was the first year we'd got some really good crops, so which was exciting for everyone.
Good crop and quality crop, right?
Yeah, quality, and that's right.
So it was the last of that, was the last of the La Nina or El Nino, whatever it is, or like the start of...
Well, 23 was like the polar opposite to 24. It was so cool and late, late ripening, where 24 was warm and not
early.
Super early, but it was relatively early.
Yeah.
Not as early as 25, which was quite early. 25
and I missed out on 25 because I was meant to help at Seville Estate, actually, with Vintage, but the baby came, and Vintage was so early, we were like, oh, sorry, mate, I'm in hospital, I can't help you pick. They're like, we need you on the tractor. I'm like, I'm in hospital, mate. But this is, I can tell, like, that grip, the thing, the stony fruits, the acid drive, like, it's very, still salivating now.
And you get that really kind of brioche, custardy characters.
Yeah, but like without being overpowered either. Like, it's all in balance.
Yes, that's the
I actually put a lot of, when you say words like veraison, bud burst, I actually put a little definition up on the screen so that people can read it.
Yeah.
I think that's actually handy. So if you ever say a word that I don't understand, I'm going to say definition, so that the editor knows to chuck it on the screen. Yeah. But this is a glorious example of Chardonnay.
So we're normally picking this in like first week of March. So generally, and like generally I'll do one pick. 25 I did 2 separate picks because it was just because we had such an early like sugar ripeness. I wanted flavour. So it's really about, with this clone, which is I10 V1, which is not always the best clone for Chardonnay, but because the vineyard's a bit older, it's planted early 90s, I think 91.
So 34 years old.
So you get that, you get weight from the older vines. You also, it starts to express the site more than just the clone. And I think that's key to Chardonnay. I think older vines is really important. You lose that, like I-10 clone can be quite pineapple-y and almost fruit salady when it gets too ripe, and you really have to pick it in the right window to get it perfect. Yeah. But as the vines get older, you get a little bit more leeway in that, and it starts like
a little bit more balance in the grape as well. I mean, that's the key, right?
I mean, that's my story, but
no, I love that. And I think that's super important for people to understand and to. So, like, we all drink it and they all buy it. Everyone just goes online and orders it and buys it. But to actually understand where, and like to have like the literal vine in front of us of where the grapes come from.
See, a lot of people talk Cologne and Chardonnay and Pinot too. And when you go to Burgundy, no one talks about Cologne. It's about regionality. Yeah. Like, Montrachet or Montrachet or Merceau. So
they've also got thousands of years of history, or hundreds more years of history. But I think maybe not in our lifetime. But I think maybe we'll get there.
Yeah, but I also think it's vine age too, because they express the site so much more than just.
Because they're deeper down. The roots are deeper down, bedded.
Yeah, the vines are mature. They're showing what they're showing the terroir.
They know what to do, right?
Yeah,
They literally know what to. They're like children. You can't train children, though, all right? I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But you can train them. This is great. I love this. I'm so looking forward to taking the rest of that bottle home. I'll be one of the first to look at this.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
If I'm allowed to post about it, who knows? Keep it secret. But it's fantastic. I spat a bit out to give back to the land, but I've drunk the rest. Yeah, no, I drank the rest. Everyone would be like, "Why are you spitting it out, mate?"
So yeah, it's a small make. Generally, I make about 100 to 150 dozen of this wine. So
and 24, how many roughly?
There's about 150 dozen.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had a bit generous. No,
that's not much. That's 300 people buying a 6-pack and it's gone.
Yep. So
and there's trade.
Yeah,
and
I've got to spread it between
people like me that want more than 6.
Yeah.
You got to go up north.
Yeah.
we can help you spread it. But what else? We're going to open one more.
Yeah.
Should we open the Pinot?
Yeah.
Should we open the Pinot? I think we should look at the Pinot.
Let's do the Pinot.
So Pinot's from Macclesfield. Yeah. So where is that in relation to where we are now?
So Macclesfield's further up in the Yarra, so it's more southeast from here.
Okay.
And it's again, it's on red soil. So I probably should talk about soils.
Yep.
You've got in the Yarra, you've got those 2 key soil structures. You've got the real rich red volcanic soils, which you've got up here in Seville.
Yep.
And then you've got like that grey loam, sort of mudstones down the Yarra.
In the valley floor?
Yeah, valley floor, but also like Yellowbow and stuff has that. In Macclesfield, this vineyard actually has, at the top of the hill, because it's quite a steep little vineyard, the top of the hill, it's all red soils, and about 2/3 the way down, it turns to those grey mudstones. So it's quite an interesting little site.
So you're getting a really different expression where you pick all the way down, which probably happens on this hill too, as you get further.
Yeah, well, this is red soils all the way down.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's quite.
Yeah, okay.
And then this is all MV6 clone. But it's back to the soil. I think Chardonnay and red soils can really, because it gets a lot more water content, it's got more nutrients, so you get more leaf. I mean, that could be harder for disease, but it also gives freshness and acidity, and I think the Chardonnay looks really good from red soils, as opposed to the drier grey soils, especially in warmer years, they really retain, they get a real golden character, but they lose some acidity and they're more fleshy. And yeah, so I do love verve in my acidity, so freshness, acidity, and that grapefruit acidity is my.
That's what you're aiming for.
That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, and then the roundness, the flesh, and that can come from things in the winery then that you do.
Yeah, you get ripeness of fruit and and that fresh acidity, and then in the winery, I'm all about building texture, and that's just using what I have. So texture's really coming from lots of solids in the ferment, so pressing straight to barrel, or I might press straight to barrel and have 100% all these, or I might press to tank and settle it for 24 hours or 12 hours and then rack straight away and take most of the lees.
That must be stressful those few days when you're doing even not even the few days, but even from picking to even deciding what you're going to do with the press, that must be.
It's really based. I'm fairly methodical how I make my wines. My wines are made relatively the same every year, except for when you've got too much ripeness or you've got disease pressure. If there's disease in the vineyard, botrytis or anything, you want to get that out. It'll affect the way you want to, rack your wine. If there's botrytis, you probably want to rack more, so you get that the dirtiness out of the wine, the oxidase enzymes from the botrytis might change how you pick the wine. The times you pick. So this going back.
I'm just. No, you can keep going. I'm just going to show them that while we're talking, just so that it comes up.
Same for Pinot. Pinot wise. This wine's always got really nice, pretty fruit. So it's Shampster Cherries with cherry fields. It's based in Macclesfield.
It smells like cherry.
Yeah, and I always get that real cherry kind of aromatic.
Like cherry.
And this has got really lovely structure too. Quite often Yarra Pinot, beautifully fragrant, very round and plush, but you don't often get a lot of structure. And I think that's the key, trying to find ways to get a bit more structure in the wine so they age well, because I think Chardonnay ages ridiculously well. You can look at a 10-year-old Yarra Chardonnay from most producers really, and they still look really nice and young
and fresh.
Yeah, yep. Where Pinot can be very hard to get, much more, I think 5 to 8 year window, and then they start to look a bit more tired or a bit too advanced. But
do you think that's vine age as well, or do you think
I think it's acidity and structure. So I mean, you look at classic, really great Burgundy producers, they always have lots of structure, they have depth, and they, you know, that's
young, you drink it and be like, oh wow, that's
and
like just...
And almost too hard to drink.
Correct,
really young.
yep.
And our wines are plush and really upfront early. So yeah, it's trying to get that structure and freshness of acidity and good pH in Pinots, and that's finding the right cooler sites, right clones for those sites, all of that.
This is delicious.
Yeah, I'm really happy with this wine, and it does have that little bit more structure in the palate.
And there's a little bit like the oak's there, but it's not like overpowering. It's not taking away from that like really perfumed floral. There's even like some florals, like earthiness, like...
Yeah. So it's about 30%. I generally work with 30% whole bunch, but it's variable. It might be 20 to 30. I do that separate. Normally puncheons with the heads knocked out, and I just seal them up and do the cab mac sort of style, but then crush, you know, pillage them, foot stomp them. So I'm still getting, you know, that more textural tannin, but I'm not getting too much cab mac flavors, because I love that little bit of cab mac, but otherwise it gets too
confected,
overtly
maybe.
confected.
Yeah,
Right,
agreed. Is foot stomping as fun as what it sounds and looks?
It is really fun.
Because like I'll be honest, I've never done it, and I'll be really keen to do it.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like it's either going to be really fun or really like gross, and I guess that depends on what you like your feet feeling like, right? But I feel like it's fun,
yeah,
right?
if you're not going too deep, it's all right.
You're getting up to here and just like you.
I've seen guys getting there and the undies all the way up to here. I'm like,
it's a bit much. It's a bit much. But this is a beautiful example, and 24. So it's a lot less of this, obviously.
Yeah,
in terms of volume.
So 100 dozen of this.
Okay.
So it's very,
It's not
really
much to go
low
around.
crop.
There's not much to go around there, is
No.
there? I could probably sell all of that just on social media. I reckon we could sell all of that in one.
That's a lot of people go, oh, you know, it's you sell out so quick, but I just don't make a lot.
Yeah,
and I try and spread it as much as I can through.
You are very kind at trying to spread it.
Yeah.
You do sometimes ring me and say you can have a couple of dozen, and then you drop off a dozen. You're like, it's all I got. You know, like, but that's okay.
Because I feel like I'm really bad at promising everyone.
Yeah, but they're just farmers, right? At the end of the day, and to get these guys on the phone, right? Don't bother about texting, Instagram, emails. Like, you got to call them. Because I guarantee he's probably got like 1,000 unread emails and text messages. He'd have thousands.
Don't even look at my phone.
Exactly. Don't even look at their phone. They're just farmers at the end of the day. Well, they're a lot more than that. But they just don't respond. And it's taken, how many weeks has it taken us to get this sorted out?
A while, but you're a busy man.
Yeah, I know, it's true. Well, I got too many children, so that's what keeps me going. But what about New Oak?
So New Oak, Chardonnay wise, so the appellation's about 15 to 20, the single vineyard's around 30. I use a combination of like older French, it's all French obviously, but like 600 litre barrels, so demi-muns, puncheons and barriques, and it just depends. Sometimes I use some of those 350s, which is I think what Pierre Colomare uses. But mostly
awkward size.
Yeah, it's an awkward size. But all the barrels, just fucking around with so many different barrels, it's crazy.
And then New Oak on the...
So the Pinot is I try and really back off on New Oak. I mean, New Oak can build structure in Pinot, definitely, but I just find it dominates that prettiness and fruit.
Yeah,
so I
lose
generally try and keep it around the 10% mark.
Wow.
Yeah, quite low. I'm a massive fan of like, let's say Lafarge, which, you know, Volnay, and its pomades. They're very fragrant and rustic, but very little oak. Like you don't see a lot of New Oak in those wines.
Volnay it's definitely one of my faves lately too, actually.
Yeah,
definitely.
So,
oh wow, this is, and I think this one we normally, when we talk about this last year, I know with the 23s, you told me to decant this quite heavily before actually
probably open
trying
early.
it.
It depends on.
Well, I mean, I'm going to take these two. I actually might even take all of them actually, and do them individually.
I generally don't decant Pinot for me.
Yeah.
I like to pour a glass and leave it for 3 or 4 hours.
So you're basically decanting a glass.
Yeah, drink my glass. But it's just more getting air into the bottle instead of, because it can be quite fragile.
So by the time I drink this late this afternoon or tonight, that will actually be
perfect.
Yeah. Got you. The missus is going to try and sip all the Chardonnay, I guarantee that.
Yeah.
Literally, she's going to be like, I'll have that. And I'm like, no.
But yeah.
But this is really pretty. It's really, really nice. And then you've got 2 more. You've got my least favourite grape. Everybody knows what that is. Cabernet.
Oh,
Cabernet. No, Shiraz is great.
Oh, okay,
Shiraz is great.
Good.
Cabernet, young Yarra Cabernet.
It'll be interesting to see what you think
doesn't do it for me. I'm going to be completely honest. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it for me.
Well,
Margaret River Cabernet lately, though, that's been doing it for me.
See,
So this is unlabelled, right? This is a secret mystery wine.
Well, I hand label all the single vineyards, so it takes time. This is ready to go. So this, single vineyard Shiraz. So this is from Steels Creek. Both the Cabernet and Shiraz are from Steels Creek.
So Steels Creek is like the other side for us. Like if you're coming down the highway and you're coming into the Yarra, where we are is sort of like, hang on the right-hand side, and that's like up on the left-hand side, like out towards Yarra Glen and towards Yea.
So it's the northern end of the Yarra.
Okay, so elevation-wise, what do we...
It's still, it's quite low comparatively. It's 200, 250.
Okay, so it's still considered lower Yarra.
Yeah. It's valley floor. It's considered valley floor, but as where the side is, you're on the way up to Kinglake Ranges. So it's right at the base of the Kinglake Range. So you get a lot of cooler air. So Dixon's Creek's quite warm, and we're over the ridge from there towards Kangaroo Ground side. And you do get a lot of cooler. So I used to work in Dixon's Creek, and we'd pick probably a week or a bit earlier for most varieties.
Where we are now.
Well, but also over in Steels Creek. So but so I always do the single vineyard Syrah 100% whole bunch. So it's pretty much one ferment, goes in, sorted, so the fruit's cooled, sorted, and then goes straight into the fermenter whole bunch. And then locked up for about 4 to 6 weeks really before I touch it. So it gets a lot of Cab Mac character, and then I start pillage in it. Okay. And so it probably almost 2 months on skins, and then pressed straight to barrel.
Still has beautiful colour for how long it stays on skins.
Yeah, that's right.
Like it's beautiful colour.
I mean, the thing with Syrah and the Yarra, you get the acid's quite, because Syrah retains its acid a lot, so you get lower pH in this site particularly, and you get this really lovely, super purple colour. And really I'd never have problems getting colour out of this vineyard. It's older vines, so that's the thing. If you're using whole bunch in a vineyard that probably doesn't get as much colour, then you lose colour and you get a browner sort of looking wine.
Okay. And a lot of whole bunch can force colour to drop out too, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Learned that recently. Yeah, we are learning something along this journey.
So this class, you get that real kind of black olive, red licorice, spicy. Yep. So I never use any new oak in Syrah. It's always old oak. So normally just old puncheons.
It's floral too, like lavendery, like really perfumed.
And that's the whole bunch character. So I've had sites where I've made Shiraz 100% whole bunch, and it's been green as all get out. You get that real mezcal-y, smoky but green. I hate that flavour. I hate that smell.
It's good, mate. You've got to like what you like, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, right, you need to make a wine, and all winemakers do, that if it flops, that you're going to drink. Yeah. And if you've got 50 dozen of that and no one buys it, you're going to have to like it. So you better make sure you enjoy it, right? You make it in your style. Yeah. There's a lot of wineries, I reckon, around that just make wine based on trends or what they think is the style for their consumer rather than what they actually want to make. And it's to their detriment, because if you make what you like, you make it with more passion, more energy. Yeah. And generally it'll probably be a better wine, generally. Yeah. In my opinion. And that's the key. It's all about, I think the thing is, if you're pushing towards a marketing and actually making wine for soul and for what you really love to do, it's two different things. Yeah. I'm just taking my experience and my love for wine and what I love to drink and putting it into the bottle. Whereas if I was a big company, commercial, I'd be like going, oh, well, that market needs, the Pinot Gris market's going crazy, and that's what I want to make for that market, and I want to do a light style Pinot for that. Yeah. So, there is that. I mean, the wine industry is very diverse. When you get to the pointy end of things and you're spending good amount of money on a bottle, you want to make sure that there's soul and there's a story behind it and there's purpose. That's exactly right. So and I think that when you pay for a bottle of wine, when you pay more money, that's what you're getting. You're getting soul, purpose, and I get asked that all the time. Is it worth that much money? Is it worth paying more for this? And I think that's really a great way to sum it up. That you're just getting somebody's hand labeling the bottles. Somebody's foot 100% hand foot stomping, we'll call it. He's foot stomping his own wines. He's doing everything himself. Yeah. Right. And then that translates into what's in the bottle. Right. He doesn't have machines and robots and 20 staff working for you. Got any staff? No. None. You yourself and Irene. Yeah. Exactly right. Does the wife help?
No. She does.
There you go.
She does a little bit of the website stuff. And, the mailing.
That's the stuff you don't want to do.
Nah.
Nobody wants to do that stuff.
I'm not.
But look, I mean, the Shiraz is beautiful. It's cool climate. It's classic.
Yeah.
It's spicy. It's textural. It's peppery. Like but it has great acid and it has great tannin. Like it's all. It's in balance.
Yeah, and it's really delicious. I always find the Shiraz like. Just get some prosciutto and drink a little bit of that, and you just well,
there you go. Get a bit of prosciutto and get this in your glass.
That fattiness and that saltiness with the sweetness of fruit in that, and that little bit of herb. It's just.
I know that.
And then it's Cabernet time.
No, I'm going to regret this, and we're in the wrong glass for Cabernet.
But this is a really floral style cab. Like
I'll be the judge of that.
I use whole bunch in my Cabernet, which is unusual, about 20%. It's more Cab Mac than anything else. You see the colour's just ridiculous.
The colour's very similar.
So this is Cabernet Franc and Cab Mac.
Okay.
So same vineyard, planted 81, so as old as I am.
81, yep.
Yep. This is, I think it's about 26% Cab Franc. The rest is Cabernet Sav. And yeah, all old oak again, 20% whole bunch, and really whole berry. I just try and make it very floral and fruity and easy to drink. So you're not going to get super tannin and super, agey. Well, it probably will age well, but I'm not going for that style where it's like you can't drink.
You're going for like a drink now style of.
Not just drink now, but I just want to preserve that perfume and the prettiness, that classic Yarra Valley cassis and violety characters. That's what I want. It's all about the aromas for me more than trying to build that.
It's the pyrazines that kill me all the time.
Yeah,
that's what gets me.
That's right, and you can get that really greenness.
And that's what gets me. And no one likes the word green. It's like we should say vegetal or herbaceous or whatever, but it is just. It's like stalky capsicums, right? The greenness, jalapenos, and that's just not my.
Yeah, well, that's the Sauvignon, like Cabernet and Sauv Blanc. It's got that pyrazine character. I personally don't think this is too pyrazine. It has more of that style of like black currant, which has a green edge to that dark berry fruit kind of.
It's closer to Margaret River Cabernet than it is to.
Okay.
Yarra Cabernet, without the the fruit profile, and the texture, like the lightness.
Yeah, it's very light and pretty. The acidity is really fresh.
It's obviously not Margaret River Cabernet, but it has that lightness. It's delicate. It's pretty. It's definitely floral and like aromatic. I mean, it's good. It's great wine. There's nothing wrong with the wine, like at all. And I say that all the time to people. They're like, "Oh, what happens if you think a wine's shit?" I'm like, I don't often think a wine is shit.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. Like stylistically for myself, and that's all it comes down to. You can't love everything. There you go. Someone else has said it finally.
Yeah.
You can't like everything.
You can appreciate it though. You can appreciate it for what it's for.
You have to be able to, right? Like I'm trying to get into the show judging and all that kind of stuff. Like you have to be like I had a Cabernet bracket at the Melbourne Royal.
Yeah.
Like 38 Cabernets. You reckon that was enjoyable? No, but you have to be able to.
When you start drinking aged Cabernets,
you have to be able to. Give me like an old Bordeaux and forget it.
Or even just an old Mount Mary. You're like, oh my God, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
But that's another whole other story about drinking wine with age and knowing that wine will go the distance.
And these days, everyone just wants to open it.
Everyone wants to open them early.
Drink it.
But a lot, we're not European. We all don't have a cave under our house, so.
No, we don't have caves under our house. Some of us don't even have cellars inside our house because our children will destroy them. Keep everything off-site so that the children don't wreck it. But look, I mean, I've learned a shit ton, and we're going to go for a little walk down there.
Yeah.
We're all clean. Our shoes are cleaned, boots are cleaned. We're all done properly because we know that the Yarra has an issue with phylloxera.
And this is own rooted.
And this is own rooted as well. So what does the own rooted mean for people that don't follow along?
So if you have phylloxera in the Yarra, it's pretty much a root nematode that'll kill the vine. So, and that's been rife in the Yarra for probably 10 plus years, maybe 15 years now. You can use rootstock, which is when the vine's grafted onto a phylloxera-resistant rootstock.
Yep.
So that'll generally stop any phylloxera infections.
So the bugs can still sit on the vines, but they can't kill the vine, is basically what that means,
they just
right?
don't get in, Yep,
so, okay.
And then, own rooted means it's on its original stock, so it's susceptible to phylloxera, essentially. So,
which is why we need to make sure we're clean and we're cautious and we don't go from vineyard to vineyard.
So any of the American rootstocks were resistant to phylloxera, so and then the French well, I think the Americans introduced it essentially.
They did it just to fuck up the French, probably.
I don't know. Don't quote me on that one.
Won't quote you on that one. But that was awesomely That was great.
Yeah.
The Chardonnay is the king. Like, I'm going to be perfectly
We'll pour
honest.
a little bit of that and do the vineyard.
I need to get the other camera out now, so I'm going to pause this one and then we'll chuck on the other one. That was great.